BJ and the Bear once took us down America's highways with a fearless trucker and his mischievous chimp by his side. But more than 40 years later, the cast has changed in ways you won't believe. Some walked away from fame, some battled serious illness, and some are no longer with us. What really happened to them? Let's uncover the truth behind each familiar face. Claude Akins as Sheriff Elroy P. Lobo. Claude Aubrey Akins was born on May 25, 1926, in Nelson, Georgia, USA. At 52 years old, he played Sheriff Elroy P. Lobo, the corrupt and relentless lawman chasing BJ in BJ and the Bear, 1978. His booming voice and imposing frame brought menace and humor that defined the show's conflict. That authority was forged in hardship. Growing up during the Great Depression, Akins worked from a young age to help his family. After serving in the U.S. Army Signal Corps in World War II, he studied theater at Northwestern University, determined to turn discipline into craft. Hollywood quickly cast him as tough men and villains in films like Rio Bravo and later in the series Movin' On, roles that made him recognizable but confined him to a narrow image. Recognition did not erase pressure at home. In 1952, he married Therese Fairfield, and while his career expanded across westerns and television dramas, long shoots and mounting frustration over lost opportunities fed tension in the marriage. His disappointment at losing the role of dragline in Cool Hand, Luke deepened his insecurity. During the 1960s, alcohol became a coping mechanism, and the marriage stood on uncertain ground. Therese remained, and over time he steadied himself, but the strain left marks. Then his health collapsed. In May 1993, doctors diagnosed him with stomach cancer. Surgery removed half of his stomach, yet the disease advanced rapidly. The strong lawman audiences knew began to weaken as treatment failed to stop the spread. Sadly, he died on January 27, 1994, in Altadena, California, at 67 years old from stomach cancer. He was cremated, and his ashes were returned to Altadena in a modest farewell. With an estimated net worth of about $1.5 million from a long career in film and television, he left behind a legacy of intensity. Greg Evigan as B.J. McKay. Gregory Ralph Evigan was born on October 14, 1953, in South Amboy, New Jersey, USA. At 25 years old, he played B.J. McKay, the independent truck driver traveling America with his chimpanzee companion Bear, in B.J. and the Bear, 1978. His charm and quiet strength carried the series and made him the emotional center of the show. That confidence on screen grew out of early struggle. Raised in a working-class family, the son of electrician Ralph Milan Evigan and homemaker Barbara Elizabeth Evigan, Greg learned early that talent alone was not enough. He studied piano from age 8 and later played saxophone in teenage rock bands. He fought for space in Jesus Christ Superstar and later stepped into the lead of Grease, proving he had discipline as well as ambition. Success at work soon tested stability at home. On June 3, 1979, he married dancer Pamela C. Serp, and as BJ and the Bear soared, filming schedules kept him away for long stretches. When My Two Dads later revived his fame, the renewed spotlight created new strain. Pamela carried much of the family weight while raising Vanessa, Jason, and Brianna. Arguments followed exhaustion, and there were moments when the marriage seemed fragile, but they chose endurance over collapse. When the applause faded, the silence hit harder. After My Two Dads ended, Greg faced a quiet emotional crash marked by mild depression and anxiety about fading relevance. Therapy became essential, helping him regain balance while he accepted guest roles in projects like Tech War and later appearances on General Hospital. He rebuilt his rhythm step by step, refusing to disappear. Today, Greg Evigan is 73 years old and continues to appear at fan events and take selective acting roles. With an estimated net worth of around $2 million from decades of television, film, and music work, He lives a steady life beside Pamela and their children, who have entered the entertainment world themselves. Mills Watson as Deputy Perkins, William Oscar. Watson was born on July 10, 1940, in Oakland, California, USA. At 38 years old, he played Deputy Perkins, the loyal and often comedic assistant to Sheriff Lobo, in BJ and the Bear, 1978. His dry humor and awkward timing gave the series a lighter edge and helped shape its spin-off success. His resilience began in youth. Raised with modest means and without many modern comforts, Watson grew up working hard and valuing discipline. After high school, he briefly studied acting, then pushed himself further by training at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London. That decision changed everything. Back in America, he accepted small roles in productions like Papillon and later appeared in series such as Gunsmoke, building experience step by step. Marriage brought both strain and responsibility. His first marriage ended in divorce during the 1970s, and for a time he raised his son Mason largely on his own while pursuing roles in The Misadventures of Sheriff Lobo and Harper Valley PTA. The pressure of steady work and single parenthood tested him. Later, he found stability with his second wife, Sue, choosing a quieter life away from Hollywood intensity. Health concerns arrived in the early 1990s when he faced heart-related issues that required surgery. The experience forced him to slow down and rethink priorities. Recovery led him to step away from acting after projects like Gunsmoke to The Last Man. He chose peace over spotlight. Now, Mills Watson is 86 years old and lives privately on a farm in McCulla, Oregon with Sue. With an estimated net worth of around $800,000 earned from television work and decades in entertainment, he spends his days farming and enjoying a calm life far removed from studio sets. Brian Kerwin as Deputy Birdie Hawkins. Brian Kerwin was born on October 25, 1949, in Chicago, Illinois, USA. At 30 years old, he played Deputy Birdie Hawkins, the well-meaning but dim-witted deputy, in BJ and the Bear, 1979. His comedic energy added contrast to Sheriff Lobo's authority and strengthened the show's dynamic. His early years shaped his emotional intensity. Growing up in Illinois, he pursued acting seriously after graduating from USC Film School in 1972. Moving to New York, he immersed himself in theater and later earned recognition for stage work such as The Little Foxes and August, Osage County. Transitioning into television was challenging, as he often found himself cast in supporting roles despite talent that reached further. Marriage defined his adult life. On September 2, 1990, he married producer John Marie Troy, and together they raised 3 children, Finn, Matilda, and Brennan. While building his television career in projects like One Life to Live and films including 27 Dresses, he carried the weight of private struggles. Earlier in life, he battled periods of emotional instability and sought treatment to regain control. Then, tragedy struck when Jean died on February 11, 2016, after a 3-year battle with brain cancer, leaving him widowed and devastated. Grief altered his pace, but not his craft. He continued appearing in television roles and guest performances, balancing work with fatherhood. Today, Brian Kerwin is 77 years old and continues working in television and stage projects while residing in New York City. With an estimated net worth of around $2 million accumulated from decades in film, Broadway, and television, he lives quietly, carrying both professional pride and the enduring memory of the wife he lost. Judy Landers as Stax. Judy Landers was born on October 7, 1958, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. At 23 years old, she played Stax, the beautiful and confident female truck driver, in BJ and the Bear, 1981. Her presence added glamour and energy to the series, strengthening its appeal during its final seasons. Behind that bright screen image was a childhood shaped by competition for attention. Growing up in a large family alongside her sister, Audrey Landers, Judy trained seriously at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Modeling opened doors, but it also exposed her to uncomfortable realities of the entertainment world. She moved into acting with roles in Vega Dollars and later as a regular on Madam's Place. Marriage shifted her priorities. On November 7, 1987, she married former Major League Baseball pitcher Tom Niedenfuer. While her career included appearances in The Love Boat and films like Stewardess School, Tom's career brought its own strain, especially during periods of injury that affected both finances and stability. Judy stepped back from the spotlight more than once, choosing family over fame, and together they focused on raising their daughters Lindsay and Christy. Health concerns surfaced in 2010 when she was diagnosed with osteoporosis. The diagnosis forced her to slow down and rethink lifestyle choices. Treatment and careful management helped her stabilize her condition, but it marked a turning point in how she viewed aging and career ambition. In 2026, Judy Landers is 68 years old and lives quietly in California. With an estimated net worth of about $1 million from television, film, and family productions, she remains connected to creative projects through Landers Productions, alongside her sister and mother. Janet Julian as Tommy Janet Louise Johnson was born on July 11, 1959, in Evanston, Illinois, USA. At 20 years old, she played Tommy, the tomboy truck driver with sharp instincts, in B.J. and the Bear, 1979. Her role brought grit and independence to the show's dynamic, standing apart from typical portrayals of women at the time. Her early years were unsettled. Growing up between Illinois and California, she faced emotional instability at home that shaped her resilience. After graduating from North Hollywood High School, she pursued modeling in New York before transitioning into acting. Roles in The Hardy Boys / Nancy Drew Mysteries and later Swamp Thing expanded her visibility, followed by appearances in films like King of New York. Marriage brought both grounding and challenge. She married Michael Lansbury, nephew of Angela Lansbury, and together they built a family while she balanced work in projects such as Falcon Crest. Financial strain during the early years of marriage required difficult adjustments, and she gradually shifted focus from acting to motherhood. That decision changed her trajectory completely. Health issues later added another layer of difficulty. In the early 2000s, she was diagnosed with a thyroid condition that required treatment and long-term management. The experience reinforced her desire for stability and led her to step fully away from Hollywood. Now, Janet Julian is 67 years old and lives as an educator and parenting expert, far removed from the film industry. With an estimated net worth of around $500,000 accumulated from her acting years and later projects, she now devotes her time to teaching and writing about respectful parenting. Cherylyn Walter as Cindy. Cherylyn Marjorie Walter was born on November 30, 1951, in Clarksburg, West Virginia, USA. At 30 years old, she played Cindy, a confident female truck driver, in B.J. and the Bear, 1981. Her role strengthened the series during its later run and gave it a sharper female presence. That resilience was not accidental. Growing up in West Virginia and later graduating from Encina High School in California, she learned early that security required effort. Financial limits shaped her discipline and focus. Acting offered escape and direction, leading to roles in The Devlin Connection and then General Hospital from 1983 to 1986. These roles earned her a Daytime Emmy nomination and cemented her reputation in daytime drama. As her visibility grew, stability mattered more. While working on Santa Barbara and later stepping into The Bold and the Beautiful, she balanced career momentum with marriage and motherhood. The pace of soap opera filming was relentless, yet she chose structure and privacy. Then priorities shifted. After appearing in projects like Baywatch and the television film Eyewitness to Murder, the physical strain of constant production and periods of health concern demanded attention. Scaling back became necessary. In 2026, Cherylyn Walter is 75 years old and lives in Hawaii, where she owns a small business and teaches writing classes. With an estimated net worth of approximately $700,000 from decades in television, she now leads a steady and quiet life. Randi Oakes as Snow White. Randi Oakes was born on August 19, 1951, in Sumner, Iowa, USA. At 30 years old, she played Snow White, a striking and spirited truck driver, in BJ and the Bear, 1981. Her presence added bold charm to the show's final season. Her composure came from rural beginnings. Raised in Iowa with modest means, she developed independence early. Modeling became her entry point into entertainment, soon leading to steady television work. Chips, 1977 to 1983, elevated her profile and secured her place in mainstream television. Success brought decisions. In 1980, she married actor Gregory Harrison, and family life quickly defined her direction. As Harrison's career advanced, she stepped back from constant filming to focus on raising their 4 children. That decision aligned with reality. After guest appearances and television commitments slowed following Chips and projects connected to her early career, mild heart-related concerns required monitoring and a calmer routine. The pace of Hollywood no longer fit her priorities. Today, Randi Oakes is 75 years old and lives privately with Gregory Harrison. With an estimated net worth of around $1.5 million earned from television and modeling, she remains financially secure and personally grounded. Sheila Wills as Angie. Sheila Wills was born on August 11, 1947 in Louisiana and was raised in Los Angeles, California, USA. At 34 years old, she played Angie, a strong and striking truck driver, in BJ and the Bear, 1981. Her role brought confidence and presence that deepened the show's final season. Her determination formed early. Growing up in Los Angeles after leaving Louisiana, she faced social barriers and subtle racial tension that shaped her resolve. She worked from the age of 11, taking small jobs to support herself and build independence. After graduating from Occidental College, she briefly worked in education before committing fully to acting. Guest appearances in series like Beretta and Kojak built her experience, and later recurring roles in Days of Our Lives expanded her recognition. Career progress intersected with personal upheaval. She married producer Hal DeWint in 1977, but the marriage ended in divorce in 1981, the same year her role on BJ and the Bear concluded. The separation forced her to rebuild both emotionally and professionally. She later shared a relationship with actor Philip Michael Thomas, with whom she had 2 children, Melody and India. Balancing motherhood and work required resilience during a period when stability was uncertain. As opportunities slowed, she transitioned into smaller television appearances such as Battlestar Galactica and continued work in films like The Concorde. Airport 79. The pace eased and the spotlight softened. Her focus shifted from rapid advancement to maintaining steady income and protecting her family life. Today, Sheila Wills is 79 years old and lives a quieter life in California. With an estimated net worth of around $600,000 earned from television and film work, she remains remembered for her steady presence in classic series. Angie's strength on screen mirrored the persistence she carried into real life. Linda McCulla as Callie. Linda Marie McCulla was born on February 12, 1954, in Los Angeles, California, USA. At 27 years old, she played Callie, a supporting character in BJ and the Bear, 1981. Though her screen time was limited, her appearance contributed to the show's ensemble energy. Her upbringing in Los Angeles was stable, allowing her to pursue acting without severe early hardship. She gradually entered television, gaining notice with appearances linked to series such as Welcome Back, Cotter, and later working within daytime dramas like The Guiding Light. Each role added experience rather than instant fame, and her career followed a steady but modest path. Marriage brought its own turning point. She wed actor Lawrence Lau on February 25, 1982, but the union ended in divorce by 1984. The separation came during a period when both were building careers, and the emotional strain influenced her professional direction. Afterward, she redirected her energy toward creative work beyond acting. Her later involvement in projects such as Team Knight Rider and film-related editing roles showed her adaptability. Gradually, she stepped away from performing and embraced visual arts and design. The shift marked a quiet transformation rather than a dramatic exit. In 2026, Linda McCulla is 72 years old and resides in Los Angeles, working as a photographer, painter, and designer. With an estimated net worth of approximately $400,000 accumulated from acting and creative pursuits, she now lives outside mainstream entertainment. Callie's brief television presence became only one chapter in a longer artistic journey. Murray Hamilton as Captain Rutherford T. Grant. Murray Hamilton was born on March 24, 1923, in Washington, North Carolina, USA. At 58 years old, he played Captain Rutherford T. Grant in B.J. and the Bear, 1981. His presence added veteran authority to the series, reinforcing its tone with the weight of a seasoned character actor. That authority was forged early. Raised in modest circumstances, Hamilton left home as a teenager and moved to New York City, determined to build a stage career. Limited hearing kept him from military service during World War II, but it pushed him toward theater instead. He shared stages with Henry Fonda and earned a Tony nomination for Absence of a Cello. Film followed with roles in Anatomy of a Murder and The Hustler, gradually shaping him into one of Hollywood's most reliable dramatic performers. Recognition peaked, but frustration lingered. His role as Mr. Robinson in The Graduate, 1967, and especially Mayor Larry Vaughn in Jaws, 1975, made him instantly recognizable, yet he often complained of being typecast as authority figures or antagonists. Through it all, his marriage to Terry DeMarco Hamilton remained steady, offering personal stability while his professional image narrowed. They raised their son David away from Hollywood spectacle, keeping family life grounded. The cost of decades in the industry surfaced quietly. A longtime smoker, Hamilton developed lung cancer in the mid-1980s. As roles became harder to secure, friend and co-star George C. Scott helped him land a part in The Last Days of Patton, 1986. His health declined rapidly after filming. Sadly, he died on September 1, 1986, at the age of 63 from lung cancer. He is interred at Oakdale Cemetery in Washington, North Carolina. With an estimated net worth of $1 million at the time of his death, accumulated through decades of stage and film work including Jaws and The Way We Were, he left behind a legacy built not on glamour, but on steady, commanding performances that shaped some of American cinema's most enduring stories. John Dullaghan, as Nick John Joseph Dullaghan III, was born on November 27, 1930, in Brooklyn, New York, USA. At 48 years old, he played Nick, a recurring character appearing in 9 episodes, in B.J. and the Bear, 1978. His steady presence added weight and credibility to the show's supporting cast. That quiet authority was shaped in New York. Growing up in Brooklyn, Dullaghan developed an early connection to theater and literature. He built discipline through repertory theater, later performing in productions such as Major Barbara and Blood Knot. Television followed with guest roles in Gunsmoke and The Rockford Files, each appearance sharpening his reputation as a reliable character actor rather than a headline star. Stability in career did not guarantee stability at home. He married Anne Bright Peters in 1955, but the relationship eventually ended in divorce. Years later, he married Michelle Bordier in 1986. That marriage also concluded in 1999. The separations marked turning points, unfolding while he continued steady work in series like Barney Miller, where he played Ray Brewer, and films including California. Then health intervened. After decades of work in projects such as Battlestar Galactica and later the film Apollo 13, Dullaghan was diagnosed with lung cancer. The illness advanced steadily, reducing the momentum of a long career built on persistence. His final months were marked by treatment and retreat from public view. John Dullaghan died on January 18, 2009, in Calabasas, Los Angeles, California, at the age of 78 from lung cancer. He was cremated, closing a life spent largely in supporting roles that strengthened the stories of others. With an estimated net worth of $300,000 earned through stage, television, and film, he left behind not blockbuster fame, but a durable body of work remembered by those who valued character over spotlight. More than 4 decades later, The Faces of BJ and the Bear, 1978, tell stories far beyond the highways they once traveled. Which cast member's journey surprised you the most? And who do you still remember watching back then? If you enjoyed this look at the BJ and the Bear 1978 cast then and now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into classic TV legends.